Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss Chapter 4 Psychoanalytic Therapy. Freud's psychoanalytic system is a model of personality development and an approach to psychotherapy. He gave psychotherapy a new look and new horizons, calling attention to psychodynamic factors that motivate behavior, focusing on the role of the unconscious, and developing the first therapeutic procedures for understanding and modifying the structure of one's basic character. So, Freud's view of human nature is basically deterministic. According to Freud, our behavior is determined by irrational forces, unconscious motivations, and biological and instinctual drives as these evolve through key psychosexual stages in the first 6 years of life. So, hindi ko na i-discuss yung ibang mga terms na karamihan sa atin is alam na kasi paulit-ulit na sa ating tinuro, like the structure of the mind, the psychosexual stages, and so on. The goal of psychoanalytic therapy is to make the unconscious motives conscious. Then we have two kinds of psychoanalysis. The classical psychoanalysis, which is grounded in the id psychology, and it holds the instincts and interphysic conflicts, which are considered the basic factors shaping personality development. And then we have the contemporary psychoanalysis. It tends to be based on ego psychology, which does not deny the role of interphysic conflicts, but emphasizes the striving of the ego for mastery and competence through the human lifespan. So let's now proceed to the therapeutic goals of the psychoanalytic therapy. The ultimate goal of psychoanalytic treatment is to increase adaptive functioning, which involves the reduction of symptoms and the resolution of conflicts. But the two goals of Freudian psychoanalytic therapy are to make the unconscious conscious and to strengthen the ego so that behavior is based more on reality and less on instinctual cravings or irrational guilt. And then the therapeutic function and role. In classical psychoanalysis, analysis typically assume an anonymous, non-judgmental stance, which is sometimes called the blank screen approach. In this approach, they avoid self-disclosure and maintain a sense of neutrality. And then we have transference, which refers to the transfer of feelings originally experienced in an early relationship to other important people in a person's present environment. Then, one of the central functions of analysis is to help clients acquire the freedom to love, work, and play. And the other functions include assisting clients in achieving self-awareness, honesty, and more effective personal relationships, in dealing with anxiety in a realistic way, and in gaining control over impulse and irrational behavior. So we then move on to the application of the therapeutic techniques and procedures. So psychoanalytic or psychodynamic therapy differs from traditional psychoanalysis in these particular ways. First is the therapy has more to limited objectives than restructuring one's personality. And then the therapist is less likely to use the couch. And then there are fewer sessions each week. There is more frequent use of supportive interventions such as reassurance, expressions of empathy and support, and suggestions. And then there is more emphasis on the here and now relationship between therapist and client. There is more latitude for therapist self-disclosure without polluting the transference. There is less emphasis given to the therapist's neutrality. And then there is a focus on mutual transference and counter-transference enactments. And lastly, the focus is more on pressing practical concerns than on working with fantasy material. So the techniques of psychoanalytic therapy are aimed at creating awareness, fostering insights into the client's behavior, and understanding the meanings of symptoms. So this work is done to attain the goals of intellectual and emotional understanding and re-education, which it is hoped will lead to personality change. So, merong 6 na basic techniques sa psychoanalytic therapy. First is maintaining the analytic work. Second is free association. Third is interpretation. Fourth is dream analysis. 5 is analysis of resistance, and the last one is analysis of transference. So, ang free association ay isa siyang technique wherein clients are encouraged to say whatever comes to mind, and regardless kung gaano kasakit ito, gaano ka-silly, ka-trivial, ka-illogical, or irrelevant. And in essence, yung mga clients, they try to flow with any feelings or thoughts by reporting them immediately without censorship. And then interpretation, it consists of the analysis pointing out, explaining, and even teaching the client the meaning of the behavior that is manifested. Then we have dream analysis, which is an important procedure for uncovering unconscious material and giving the client insight into some areas of unresolved problems. There are 2 levels of content in dreams, which are the latent content and manifest content. Latent content consists of hidden, symbolic, and unconscious motives, wishes, and fears, while manifest content is the dream as it appears to the dreamer. And then the process by which the latent content of a dream is transformed into the less threatening manifest content is called dream work. Next, we move on to psychoanalytic therapy from a multicultural perspective. So the strengths of psychoanalytic therapy from a diversified perspective is that it is an oriented therapy that can be adapted to suit culturally diverse clients by modifying techniques to fit different practice settings. Everyone experiences childhood development and crisis, making this approach applicable across cultures, particularly using Erickson's psychosocial stages. Therapists can help clients assess how life events have shaped their experiences. This therapy emphasizes on personal therapy for therapists, helps them become aware of their own biases and stereotypes, enhancing culturally sensitive practice. While the shortcomings of psychoanalytic therapy from a diversified perspective is that it is expensive and often reflects upper and middle class values, and then it is unstructured and non-directive, and then the focus is the intrinsic analysis, which may conflict with the social and environmental perspective of some clients, and then it is more focused on long-term personality reconstruction. It may not also adequately address social, cultural, and political factors contributing to a client's issues, which are potentially leading to clients to feel personally responsible for problems caused by external forces. Then we now talk about the contributions of the classical psychoanalytic approach. So it provides a basis for analyzing the origins and functions of symptoms. It also helps in addressing issues like appointment cancellations and avoidance of self-exploitation. Then it also assists clients in working through past issues to achieve emotional resolution. It also highlights the importance of transference in therapy, and it offers insight into how excessive use of ego defenses can impede effective functioning. And then it is also useful for understanding and addressing current issues, even if not all classical views are accepted. And then the contributions of contemporary psychoanalytic approaches, on the other hand, is that it combines Freud's psychosexual stages with Erickson's psychosocial development for a comprehensive understanding of personality development. And then it also offers insight into the continuity of life stages and help clients recognize connections between past and present struggles. This approach also allows therapists to blend psychoanalytic concepts with other therapeutic techniques, incorporating social and cultural dimensions. It also highlights the significance of the therapeutic alliance in achieving positive outcomes. While challenging to study through controlled trials, there is growing evidence supporting the efficacy of psychodynamic therapies with a focus on attachment, emotion, and defenses. And lastly, its core ideas like unconscious motivation, early development, and transference remain central in modern psychodynamic approaches, even as they evolve beyond traditional Freudian theories. So lastly, the limitations and criticisms of psychoanalytic approaches is that it often involves long-term commitment, high costs, and requires specialist training, limiting its practical application. And it is the techniques like free association and dream analysis may be challenging for severely disturbed clients. Traditional psychoanalysis requires extensive time, leading to the development of brief psychodynamic therapies as a response to this criticism. The traditional blank screen approach can be restrictive. Modern approaches advocate for therapies, self-disclosure, and interaction into the here and now enhance outcomes. The Freudian concept like the Oedipus and Electra complexes and the object relations approach face criticism for placing undue blame on mothers and excluding fathers from early development theories. And lastly, psychoanalytic therapy has been criticized for being suited only to an elite, highly educated clientele. So that is all for today. Thank you for listening.